Universal Basic Income, UBI. Universal Basic Income, UBI. It's Monday, March 15th, 2021. Yeah! Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well, man. It's March 15th, 2021. We are off to the races, dude. We're off to the races. I don't know what the race is all about, but we're apparently all in it together, right? So hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all safe and sound wherever you are. In and around this world, this little blue planet we call home, man. It's another Monday. Here we are, doing it, kicking butt, taking names. Hope you guys are all safe and sound. Thank you for coming in and tuning in. It's another Glad You Made It episode. This is a so-so production. Don't you forget it, boys and girls. It's your boy, Robbie Rob, kicking butt, taking names with the help and support of all the fam, dude. We're doing it together. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I know I did. Had a great week. Had a great weekend. Thursday wasn't it? Like, Thursday's shoot for me was super special. Again, if you've not checked that episode out, that was our special guest. Go ahead and check it out. Saturday we got up to, the Patreon episode. And again, boys and girls, if you'd like to support your boy, you can do it by following me on Instagram, by subscribing on YouTube, and going ahead and clicking on that link below my name on the Instagram page. It'll direct you to my Patreon page. I know we're there, boys and girls. You got 3 tiers, right? 3 tiers, not teardrops, but 3 tiers, right? They can choose from and support your boy, see which one's suitable for you. And if you want to collaborate in any form or shape, read what I wrote down, man. Let's just jot down some ideas and talk about it, get some communication going back and forth, and we'll grow together, boys and girls. All's well in the kingdom, dude. All's well in the kingdom. What did I want to talk to you guys about? I think I kind of gave a hint at the beginning of this video, dude. I think today, man, I've been just reading a lot of different things, trying to stay in the moment, trying to digest everything, trying to help myself, trying to help the folksies out there. And one article in particular that caught my attention is, Canada, we're going to be having discussions about that universal basic income. I think it's going to be a hot topic regarding the elections, or at least it's somewhat associated with the elections now, because, a lot of people, it's like, here's the thing, but before we get into anything, I just want to congratulate everybody on being cellmates or inmates. Dude, we've been doing time, dude. We've been doing time. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, I think we all deserve some sort of a badge of honor or something, dude. If you've made it so far, congratulate yourself, but we got a long road ahead of us. And yeah, man, UBI, that universal basic income, dude. A little bit of that cash, a little bit of that dollar bills, y'all, a little bit of that moolah, a little bit of that cheddar. And do we need it? Do we not need it? What are the pros? What are the cons? Can we afford to have it? Can we afford not to have it? And these are all questions we should be asking, man. These are all questions we should be asking, and I don't have the answers, you guys. This guy doesn't know anything. He just likes to ask a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? Questions that impact me, that impact you, that impact all of us, and it's important that we get talking about it. So universal basic income, it's going to be a hot topic, I think, because we're at that point, right? We've been doing time for a year. Everything's been halted. All the businesses have been impacted in one way, shape, or form. Everybody's taken a pay cut. A lot of jobs have been lost. A lot of people have lost their businesses, whether they've been, restaurant owners, little gyms here and there, comedy clubs, gig workers. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody took a hit this year, significant, and that's not even considering the impacts that this schmovid has had on our lives, on our psyches, on our emotional well-being, on our spiritual well-being. And yeah, the way it's impacted our health is so diverse. So do we need a universal basic income? I don't know, you guys. I think, here's the thing. I think if I were given an option, I think I would take a universal basic income. I think everybody should be, again, because I've talked about these issues before, this is not new. I do believe everybody should be guaranteed a roof over their head. I do believe everybody should have enough to eat every month. Everything else after that, yo, I think you should be, that's, I think, when you should count on yourself and your will and determination to go out there and make it happen. You know what I mean? And that's, I think that's what it is. It takes, society should uphold people and people should uphold society. It's a fine little dance that we got going on, but we do need each other and we need each other's support. And here's the thing, I think I've been, again, I've not seen it implemented anywhere. I think this was maybe, we've kind of had that, I guess, this little experiment with, I don't know, in Canada, we had the CERB, now we've got the CRB, and I think it's helpful. Do I think it's a long-term remedy? No. Do I think it's covering everybody's expenses? No, not at all. But is it at least ensuring that people have enough to pay their rent, people have enough to pay their grocery bills? I think that's definitely helpful. And again, you guys, I want you guys to think about it. And I think here's the thing: a lot of times, concerns are that if you were to provide people with their livelihood, there's not going to be any incentive for them to go out and actually try, for them to actually roll up those sleeves and tighten up those shoelaces and actually go ahead and try. I think that's a myth, dude. I think that's a myth, because looking at everything personally in my life, looking at everybody around me, I think for the most part, most people don't like stagnation. Most people like to be growing, most people like to be improving. And sometimes I think a part of that growth and improvement is reliant on some sort of a financial backing, so that you're not constantly worried about, am I going to make my rent this month, or am I going to have enough money to put food on the table for myself and my family? You know what I mean? These thoughts, I think, everybody, and that's why we at times, go after jobs or professions that'll just provide us with that little bit of extra cheddar, even though we don't like it, and we end up hating ourselves, sometimes getting angry at our family members for, indirectly maybe putting us through that stuff. And I think for the most part, if everybody were given a chance and an opportunity to have their basic needs met, I think they would take those advantages or little privileges, if you will, and use them for good. Now, is there going to be a portion of the population that's going to be slacking off and not using it wisely? Perhaps, but is that a good enough reason for us to, not support each other? I don't think so. And a lot of times these things they're complicated topics, guys. They're complicated topics, guys. They're complicated topics. This is not, I don't have any remedies or solutions, but I know a lot of barriers come up in regards to the finances, right? We're always talking about, well, how are we going to get the money to give everybody 2K, 2G notes a month, dude? How are we going to give everybody $2,000 a month, or whatever it is that we're going to decide upon? And we always get stuck on that we don't have enough money. Where are we going to get the money from? And that's the illusion, that's the myth that I think is one of the myths or illusions that's holding us back, because I think we can generate the money. I think we already are generating the money. We all pay taxes. I think a portion of that should go towards holding society up. And we've got new incomes, you guys. The government's got new income. We've got new income. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel like we're all a little bit like, we should be benefiting from the sales of alcohol and tobacco, and now weed, because this is a huge industry and it's only growing. Why don't we take a portion of the taxes, or maybe all of it, or however you like, because these are, again, run by the government, right? Like they here in Canada, at least, it's regulated. You'd have to pay taxes on top of these things, which are good. And that's the thing, I want us to be going ahead. And that's the thing, when we talk about universal basic income, it's one of those topics that's, again, interconnected like many other topics with a bunch of other topics at the same time, right? You're talking about universal basic income. A thought that comes up is, how can we afford it? Maybe through using our taxes wisely could be helpful, because if I'm not mistaken, they wrote down a budget for Canada. In order for us to have universal basic income for everybody, I think we're going to need around $44 billion a year. So perhaps that's something that we could look into and, just do the math. I don't think it's a matter of, and here's the thing, you guys, here's the thing, as we're making progress with technology, we are going to be inevitably losing a lot of jobs, right? A lot of jobs are going to become automated. So I think in the future, or in the near future, and I'm not the only one that's talking about this. I'm not the first one who's been talking about this. I do believe this is actually a wonderful age. I think this is a time where we can really, grab life and just steer it in a direction that's positive for everybody. Um, for the most part, what was I trying to say? I lost the trail of my thought. You guys, bear with me a few seconds. There's a lot of things to cover, and what I'm trying to say is that yeah, there's definitely way. Oh, with the automation of jobs, with the automation of jobs, I think we're just going to be, as humans, we're going to have more time to be reflecting. We're going to be having more time to work on ourselves essentially, and that's, I'm hoping that that in its essence will become some sort of a job, or some sort of, because like here's the thing, man. Like at a lot of times, it becomes this like, it becomes like a taboo. It becomes like a, there's stigma with collecting some sort of universal basic income or welfare. There's all these stigmas around these things, right? But it's just like, oh, this person is lazy, this person doesn't want to work. I find that no, a lot of times people do want to work. People are actually really creative. People want to be putting out stuff. People want to be creating and contributing. It's just the way we've come to demand substance from people has become so rigid, and it's become so linear, and it's been put into little tiny boxes. And I think it's time we break away from those boxes, guys. We don't really, here's the thing, like, even if we give universal basic income, another aspect that needs to be tackled is the rate of inflation. Because even if everybody were given $2,000 a month or whatever, if the housing market keeps increasing exponentially, if the cost of food keeps increasing exponentially, then your $2,000 or $1,800 or even $3,500, whatever again we decide upon, is not going to be sufficient enough in, let's say, 5 or 10 or 20 years. So are we going to be also adjusting the universal basic income in accordance to the rate of inflation for the cost of living and goods and services? Because these all need to be tended to. I mean, that's one of the things that's never made sense to me, is why do we always have an increasing cost of housing? Why do we always have, and again, I keep reading the websites that are in, I guess, in business or have to do with real estate. Just I like to keep an eye on everything, and just reading the numbers, it's so arbitrary and it's so subjective, and it's gotten out of hand, you guys. It's gotten out of hand. I think it was last week or the week before that I mentioned we've now had a single one garage in Toronto, just 10 kilometers from where I live, go up for sale for around $720,000. That's ridiculous. So, and I don't have the answers, and that's the thing. What I want to indicate is, right now we've all been doing a year, right? We've all, whether you actually got COVID, whether COVID is real, whether it's fake, I'm not saying any of that jazz, but what it has impacted us. Everybody's lives did halt globally. Now, I can't control everything globally. You guys can't do that either, but we can focus our energy where we are and make positive differences. Wouldn't it be nice that, when we do decide to go back to normal, hopefully sooner than later, everybody had a little helping hand. Everybody had a little bit of assurance that everything's going to be okay. And yeah, it's just not fair to see huge multinational corporations during this time getting richer and richer and richer off of our existence, right? As we're alive every day, we're just producing money and wealth for these companies without even realizing it, guys. Like by coming online, by going outside, doing whatever, every bit of your being is being extracted and formulated into some sort of a database and being harvested in a sense, so that large companies can gather your data and sell you a bunch of stuff. Now, it's okay, we can always, consuming's fun, consuming's fine, production's fine, having different brands of different stuff is always, that's the whole point of being alive, is to create and help each other grow. But it shouldn't be that some folks just don't have the basic means to even survive, and this is how you produce a large working population who's always, stuck in that rat race, just going at it full force all day, every day. And that's why you see so many parents exhausted sometimes. That's why you see so many failed marriages sometimes. That's why you see so many children being neglected a lot of times. And these are all embedded into one another, right? If we were to just, we need to take responsibility, right? And that's the thing. We need to realize that this is going to be, if it happens, it's going to be a privilege. And I don't think again, to each their own. Again, is there going to be some folks out there, are there going to be some folks out there who are going to just use this to, waste their time or what have you? But no, there's going to be a lot of people, actually the majority of people are going to be using universal basic income to pay their rent, pay for their groceries, make sure their kids are fed and taken care of. And meanwhile that's happening, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be also rolling up their sleeves and creating businesses, creating ideas, bettering themselves and helping society. That's what we want. We want, in order for us to have a healthy in order for us to have a healthy society, everybody needs to be taken care of and everybody needs to feel safe. So I don't think it's a matter of can we afford it. I don't think it's a matter of feasibility. I think it's a matter of, it's now become, it's going to be a hot topic, you guys, and this is going to be, I think, used by the politicians and overall in politics. It's going to be another point that's going to be talked about, and I think they're going to want us to pay attention, and it's important for us to pay attention, but at the same time I don't want the politicians thinking you're giving out handouts or you're doing people favors, okay? Everybody has their moments of privilege in life, everybody has moments of disadvantage. It's time that we recognize that, we're all dependent on each other. We're all dependent on each other, and nobody should go a day or a night without being certain of where they're going to sleep. Nobody should worry about if they can afford food to feed themselves. These are all important issues, because if we neglect these things, even when we do decide to go back to normal, it's just going to be a repeat of the same old story as that dog eat dog mentality, where I'm going to just do whatever I can in my power to get my piece of cheese, and I'll step on everybody else along the way, and that's not cool, you guys. I think we all agree on that's not cool. So can we afford it? 100%. I think we can definitely use, again, the cannabis industry could definitely be used. We could definitely use the taxes, the alcohol and tobacco industry. I mean, these industries, tobacco and alcohol, not even like weed, tobacco and alcohol have been so detrimental to human beings, yet and that's cool, man. We have them because we like to consume them. We have that freedom as individuals to partake whenever we like, responsibly. But shouldn't a portion of these taxes, these revenues be going towards helping people? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous to me that we get stuck on numbers and digits and allow so much, I guess I don't even know what to call it. Imbalance is what it is, because we got the means, we got the resources. We're a nation here in Canada, you guys. We're a nation of 38 million to 40 million people. We should easily be able to house everybody. We should easily be able to maintain a good and we're doing such a great job. We're doing a great job compared globally, right? There's so much room for improvement, but I'm just saying, I'm very grateful. I'm just wondering, like you guys, how can we make it better? How can we make it last longer? How can we make sure that it's going to be here for other generations to enjoy as well? It's not just for you and I, right? You want to make sure that everybody has access to things like a home, because that's the first environment that you're exposed to. And if you don't have a safe home or roof over your head, your chances of being a happy, healthy, productive member of society are going to be drastically reduced. If you don't have enough money to feed yourself or your children, chances of you becoming, again, a productive, relatively happy and balanced person in society are going to be slim. So why don't we apply things that we could use to our advantage? Why don't we use the revenue from, or the taxes from, the cannabis industry or the alcohol and tobacco industry, or a portion of the money that casinos produce? Why don't we, that's the thing there. And these are just like 3-4 examples of where we can be grabbing money and allocating it to issues that actually matter and make a difference. I don't think it's I think you should be given, I think everybody should have some sort of access to a universal basic income without the stigma of them being lazy, or because a lot of times, especially during this year, we had so much time, and I've mentioned this before, like mental health is such a huge concern. Mental health is such a huge concern, and a lot of times we all, in different shapes or forms, struggle or have dealt with some sort of mental health issue, either personally or, maybe we had a family member who was going through some things, and you can all relate to those times that you've had to deal with these circumstances and how how much of a struggle it is, because it feels like you don't have a voice. It feels like you want to be pointing out to things that are either hurting or that need attention, but it's like nobody can see it, right? A lot of mental, and a lot of us, because generationally, guys, and not to make it so to sound like, and this is the thing, I'm a huge believer of free will and determining your life to a certain degree. I don't want people to be adopting a victim mentality, you know what I mean? Oh, I've had it rough, I've had it this, I've had it so, I should be entitled to. No, I think we should all be, acting like mature boys and girls, ladies and gents, and I think for the most part, the majority of folks have that ability to, make proper decisions, and we should be given chances for people to make mistakes and come back and try to redeem themselves, because we're only going to be as good as our weakest link. You know what I mean? We're only going to be as strong as our weakest link. So why would we want to provide, or why would we want to create a society where you'd have thousands, tens of thousands of people being homeless? You know what I mean? It's not cool. It doesn't look good for anybody. It doesn't impact us in a positive manner in any shape or form. And I don't think this is going to get rid of homelessness forever or anything, but I think it's a good start. I think we're on the right track, and I think this will definitely help. I think there's still going to be some people who will, because nothing's perfect. You're never going to have a perfect system. There's always going to be somebody or a group of people who are going to fall through the cracks, but I'm just saying, let's try to reduce those numbers. Let's try to make sure that we have more winners in society. Let's try to make sure that we can be uplifting each other more instead of stepping on each other to get to that little piece of cheese, right? I think overall this was a great time. I really, making money right now is just like, it's so ridiculous. I think people should work to better themselves and create a good life for themselves and everybody around them, and I think that has a far larger impact than just producing money. You know what I mean? Because if you're constantly making, and they're like, oh, you're lazy, or this person's lazy, or they don't want to work, and what if you go and work and all you can ever achieve for whatever reason, and a lot of people fall into these categories. You end up at some dead-end job and you're barely making minimum wage. There's just no way of getting ahead. There's just some people who fall into that category sometimes have no way of getting out, and it's so sad to just be like, oh, and then this is how you, and I don't want to use any examples, because I don't know what everybody's going through, and everybody's at a different stage in their lives. We're also unique, and our circumstances are unique. You know what I mean? So it's like, I wish everybody was given the opportunity to make the best version of themselves, and maybe a universal basic income could be a starting point to achieving that goal. You know what I mean? Because if you constantly have people just worried about, how am I going to get that, rent money this month? How am I going to pay for my food this month? You're not going to have people thinking about bettering themselves. You're not going to have people thinking about creative ideas. You're not going to have people problem solving and adding to society. You're going to just make a large, hungry working class who's always too tired to think, too emotional to think and react properly, and hungry, like starving for the most part. And those types of people will not be considerate of other people, and if we keep exasperating this gap between the poor and the rich, I think that'll just tear little by little at the fabric of our society, and I don't think it's wise to do that. Should we have a universal basic income? I think yes. I think we should have a universal basic income, and I think people should also take the responsibility to use that opportunity to, if you don't have any worries about now paying rent or food, get further education, learn a craft, learn a trade, become a professional in something, or produce your own stuff. If you're an art, that's what I would do if I were given X amount, and this is kind of actually what I've been doing, using a portion of the assistance that I've been getting to not have to worry about, I guess, rent and food and all that, and then coming in here every week for the past 6-7 months now, dropping in content for you guys and trying to, make sense of it with everybody, and starting a new career, essentially. So when we say we're going to just snap our fingers and go back to normal, we should consider the fact that people need resources and opportunities. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I don't think we can just snap our fingers, let's say in 3 months, and be like, okay, everybody's vaccinated, we got herd immunity, let's go. Go back to what, dude? There's a lot of people hurting out there. There's a lot of, Please, politicians out there, don't just look at this like this is you're doing people a favor. You are in your position because people have collectively decided that they're going to be nice enough to vote for you and trust you with their lives. You've taken this responsibility and you need to act accordingly. A politician, to me, whether you're male or female, you're becoming kind of like a guardian of the state, guardian of the nation, a parent figure for the nation. You need to take care of everybody's needs. You need to make sure as men, and it's never going to be perfect. I'm not putting any extra pressure or I'm not trying to like make anybody's job harder, but I am saying recognize your job. I am saying that you do need to act accordingly and really, do your job. Politicians should not be benefiting from, and that's the thing. There's so many things that I could point out to, but right now I feel like we just need more love and more acceptance and more forgiveness, because that's the thing. I don't want to be just like pointing to people and be like, oh well, this person's getting richer during the pandemic because of the pandemic while everybody else is suffering. I think there's enough for everybody to eat from. I think there's enough to go around. I think politicians should realize sometimes that their position and privilege is just simply because they were lucky. Sometimes you're just born into a family. Your dad's a former prime minister, or your brother's a former mayor, and all that stuff. And it's like nepotism does exist in every realm, and that's fine. We can't get rid of nepotism. And all I'm trying to say is that if you demand society to be working, all I'm saying is that if you're demanding society to be working normally, if you're demanding people to be responsible and happy and not committing crimes, not going out for protests against the government, I think you should help the people. That's what you should do. And I think this has been a time where we've had a whole year to reassess our situation, but have not seen any actual action taken from the government that's looking for the future and coming down and be like, this is the plan for the next 5 years, this is the plan for the next 10 years, this is what we're going to do to make Ontario, to make Canada run again. You know what I mean? I've not seen any of that. I've not heard any of that. All the politicians, you guys need to step up your games. Come on. So I'll just leave it at that, boys and girls. I mean, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Maybe I'm missing a few points here and there. Maybe a lot of it. Maybe I'll come back to it and talk about it more on Wednesday. But this is going to be a topic that's going to be up for discussion for some time. Elections are going to be, this is definitely going to be an election topic. So I think you all should be paying attention. I think the politicians should be paying attention. I think we should just work together and collectively help uplift society, and we're all a part of that. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, I love you. Thank you all very much for the love and support. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube by subscribing, so you can actually get the full-length videos on YouTube. And on Patreon, there's always an extra episode for you guys on Saturday. Go ahead and again click on that link below my name on my Instagram page, direct yourself to the Patreon page, and support your boy. Boys and girls, sending you all a lot of positive vibes and energy. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Peace out, everybody.